Good morning everyone and welcome to the official pre-match press conference for the CommBank Matildas, who will be taking on Argentina tomorrow night right here at GIO Stadium with kick-off at 7:30 p.m. Before we commence the official proceedings, as it is National Reconciliation Week, it only seems apt that we acknowledge the stories and the traditions and the living cultures of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples on the lands that we meet and gather and play on today here at GIO Stadium. To open the proceedings, I'm pleased to welcome the ACT Deputy Chief Minister and Minister for Sport, Yvette Berry.
Thanks very much. Well, welcome everyone. We are absolutely thrilled to welcome the Matildas and Argentina here to the ACT, to Canberra, to the nation's capital, and our community is completely overwhelmed and have already sold out the stadium within hours of the tickets going for sale. And it's something we're proud of here in the ACT. We support women's sport, we support equality, and we support opportunity. And we get behind our sports, particularly our women's sports, to give young people at the grassroots all the way up to our elite players the chance to play football for Australia. So we're expecting an amazing game. This stadium has seen an incredible amount of sport over the last little while. She has been with us for a while, but when she's full, if I can gender her, she sings. And so tomorrow night we will see an amazing game when the Matildas take on Argentina, hoping for a 2-from-2 against Argentina here in the ACT. And I know that Canberrans will be cheering loudly, and we absolutely welcome Argentina and Argentina fans as well to the game. But thank you all for coming along today.
Thank you very much, Minister. Well, the CommBank Matildas, it has been almost 3 years since they last played right here in Canberra. And for our interim head coach, it's a bit of a homecoming considering he spent 16 years living in Canberra. Tom, what's it like to be able to return for a really important build-up match for the Asian Cup?
Look, it's always fantastic to come back to Canberra, back to Bruce Stadium, where I almost ended my playing career back in the 80s, and wasn't quite as built up as it is now. So it's a fantastic venue for our game tomorrow night. But yeah, I always enjoy coming back to the national capital, and particularly where women's involved, because women's football in Canberra has been one of our strongest states, territories in the women's game. And Canberra United is a great flagship at domestic level, at the elite domestic level, and probably one of our most successful teams in the A-League women's programme.
Open up the floor to questions. Mel.
Tom, as you said, been in Canberra a while before this. How excited are you to see that it's a sellout and potentially maybe the biggest women's sport event in Canberra ever?
No, it's fantastic. I've come back into the Matildas job, and it's just phenomenal. I still find it so amazing when I've walked out in most of our games into stadiums. So to come here tomorrow night and see it full, mostly with green and gold, and the type of support and the fanaticism almost of the people who come along and support the team is just amazing. So it'll be great to see the stadium filled tomorrow night.
I have to ask about our local player, Michelle Heyman. How's she been going with the squad under your tutelage then and in the coaching role? And how do you think she's going to go here in front of her home crowd? Well,
I've had a chat with her this morning. I told her I'm expecting at least a goal. She's playing in front of her home crowd. She'll play tomorrow night at some stage in the game. That's 100% certain. And she's a terrific player. She's a player that's actually just got better and better as she's got more mature. And when you look now at her experience in and around the squad and her ability, she's so important for the team. She's critically important for women's football in Canberra, and she's one of our real stalwarts in the game.
I have to ask Yvette too, would you say this is the biggest women's sport event in Canberra ever?
Absolutely, and we're thrilled to have this opportunity. So looking forward to more chances like this. We're always having conversations in the background of how we can bring more content like this, particularly in women's content, to the ACT, because we know that Canberrans love it. The crowds sell out and go wild. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
Yvette, I guess when it comes to the Asian Cup next year, I guess, is this sort of, would you be hoping to host some more games here next year?
Look, as I said, we're always open to hosting international sport, and particularly women's sport. We're always having conversations in the background with organisations, international organisations like Football Australia and others, to get this kind of content here, because it does give young people in the AC the chance to see what they could be one day. And it's thrilling for us to have somebody like Michelle Heyman, who is a real local here in the ACT and so well known, to be part of this international team and to show Canberrans her leadership and what it means to the game. It's just been outstanding to watch her. I think, as you said, she's just grown and grown into being an amazing human, but also an excellent player.
Oliver?
Yeah, I guess, Natasha, a question for you. I suppose, what is this your first time playing in Canberra, and what's it like playing here in the capital?
No, I had a small stint. I think I played about 2 or 3 games for Canberra United back in, I'm going to guess, maybe 2019. So I've experienced Canberra in its coldest and its hottest as well in summer. But I've only really got good memories back in Canberra. So I think, how close everything is proximity-wise. It's 20 minutes from side to side of the city, and I think that kind of speaks to how close the community is as well. I remember just in those few games that I was playing in, playing at McKellar Park, it was always kind of a sellout, and I think that's kind of a testament to the community. And tomorrow, a sellout, so hopefully that energy is just whatever it is, quadrupled or whatever the crowd is. So yeah.
And and what do these 2 games mean? I guess these 2 games against Argentina, what does it mean in regards to the preparation for the Asian Cup next year?
Yeah, I think a big key word that's been pushed around in camp is momentum. So every game we're building towards that Asian Cup, and every camp, every game, every training session is just a step closer to that, and a chance to get better as a team, as individuals. So yeah, I think it's just a really good opportunity to take that momentum into the Asian Cup. Yeah.
So you know a thing or two about coming into your first camp and getting a goal in. What was it like to see Carly get her goal?
I don't know. I think maybe you could feel it as well, Tom. I felt like she was going to score kind of from the kickoff, and she nearly got 2, I think, as well. She hit one with the left foot. It was quite close. So I, honestly, just so happy for her. She looked so happy, and it's such a big thing, I guess, to come into camp to be able to score, and then I think she got player of the match as well. So I don't know how you could do much better. So yeah, just honestly so happy for her.
And Tom, ahead of your final game, do you have anything you kind of want to do differently this game?
Apart from win, no, I'll settle for that. Not really, for me it's since coming into the job that it's just really been important to try and keep everything stable, everything taken along, so that hopefully the new coach comes in, can then really start to take the programme forward in the direction that he or she wants to take it in. So no, for me it would just be business as normal, and I think we're in the situation with a squad where a lot of players are looking forward towards the Asian Cup, and there's a lot of competition for places in that final 23 player squad. So these games are important, as Natasha said, for us to continue hopefully a winning momentum, hopefully continuing to play better football, but at the same time they're important for individual players like Callie to come into the team and put pressure on other players for selection in the squad next year.
And since we're in Canberra, I have to ask you, Canberra United's had a very uncertain future in recent years, contrasted with this game being an immediate sellout. What do you think that means for women's sport in Canberra? What do you think needs to happen?
Well, I think it's a great indication that we need to keep Canberra United in the A-League women's competition. They have been, a founding club, particularly in the initial stages of the league. They were a dominant force in the league. They are, I would say, the best supported team in the competition, and I say that by both crowd size, but also the passion for the crowd and the actual mix in the crowd. So when I come down here to games, I see a lot of people my age in the crowd, which is quite comforting, to be honest. And but then there's a mix of obviously, you know, young girls and etc. etc. This is a critically important team in A-League women's football, and a critically important team for the development of football, because what we want to see is we want to see more players coming out of places like Canberra and going through the A-League women's and then coming into the international arena. So you know, I will certainly make sure I do my best to make sure Canberra stay in the competition.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
What does it mean? How will you try to do your best?
Well, I will try and make sure that I use, if I have some influence, the people that are part of the decision-making process. You know, I think I caused a little bit of controversy apparently recently just talking about the A-League women, and I intend to continue doing that to make sure that our competition stays vibrant, stays national, and that we have a team in it from Canberra.
Tash, leading into the Women's Asian Cup, this is now your 4th Combank Matildas, Cam. Another start. How important is it for you as a player to be getting those significant match minutes?
It's a good question. Like I said, I think it's just whether it's team momentum or individual momentum. I think it's, you know, the more minutes you play, the more comfortable you get as a team and as an individual. You know, it's still quite new to me playing in front of, you know, 40,000 people and sell-out crowds. So I think, you know, the more minutes I get under my belt, the more comfortable I'm going to feel, and hopefully that's reflected on the field.
And Tash, coming into camp as well, you're seeing a lot of your international teammates play for like different clubs and come back here. What do you think needs to change in the A-League to get to that level?
I think, I mean, from my perspective, I'd like the season to go like a full year around, whether that's, you know, training, just basically mirroring what's happening in Europe. So obviously that means maybe paying a bit more for the season to be full year round. And I guess it would be ideal to attract maybe overseas talent as well, to make sure the quality of the league stays up to scratch as well.